Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're now listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. I am the Apocalyptic Optimath, also known as King the Conqueror, also known as Lucifer, I guess, also known as Seth. Got a bunch of AKAs. But the thing is, well, first of all, before we get to the nitty gritty, I saw a video from Dr. Zero. I appreciate it. Thank you. Was it necessary? Not really. Was it appreciated? Indeed. It was a bit trolly with the Illuminati symbolism, with the Illuminati stuff on there. I know you guys feel like y'all are the Illuminati, which is a fair assessment of the situation. But I unfortunately will unsubscribe to the notion that I am the Illuminati. The reason why, I just don't like to carry that energy with me, because at the end of the day, we're talking about like fucking child traffickers and fucking rapists and all kinds of fucking shit, dude. Like, so I don't really want to carry that energy with me. I don't really, that. Do I carry it a little bit? Yeah, when I play video games, but apart from that, not really. I don't really want to. I was kind of feeling that, but I was like, I kind of went into it a little bit. But then I was kind of like, yeah, fuck it. I like NPC Spider-Man. I'm gonna do my own thing. It's just I just don't like it. I just don't, because it reminds me of all the bad stuff. So it's not an energy that I like to carry around. But I understand what y'all doing. Y'all are doing alchemy. Right, and it's a fair assessment. Like I said, it's a fair assessment. My tarot skills have been lacking recently because I have stopped reading tarot. But I think I see where it's going, and I also think you said you didn't read reversals. I don't know. I'm in a time period right now where, I'm in the dark night of the soul right now. So that upside down, I think it was like emperor or magician. I think it was a fair assessment, not that I'm saying like I won't be successful or something like that, or some shit like that. It's not that. It's just like I'm cuz the upside down emperor is like it's like the bad version of the emperor. It's like the cutthroat and ruthless version of the emperor. And I feel more like that version of the emperor than the upright version of the emperor. Not saying that I'm gonna stay like that forever. Obviously, it's just there's a lot of variables pissing me off in these in these coming days, in these last days. So yeah, anyway, but it was cool. Thank you. I don't know why you felt the need to do that, but it's appreciated. I just saw the notifications from the last video, from the Who You Are video. I had not seen the notifications. I just saw them right now, and I was looking at my cell phone the whole day, and I just saw all of the notification. I shit you not. I had zero notification. Even on YouTube, I didn't see anything at all. Not one message, not one. So, and there was like 4 or 5. So, my bad. So yeah, to get back to what we were saying, I kind of want to get into this too because it's an interesting subject. This transfiguration of chosen ones into the Illuminati, because there is a notion that you are in a chosen ones are original Freemasons, right? That's better. Chosen ones are original Freemasons. Like the Freemasons that we have right now are kind of like, I wouldn't say fake. I wouldn't say fake. Not fake at all. That's not what I would say. That is not the term that I would use. But it's kind of like, it's as if, I mean, they were there, they're established, but the knowledge that they're trying to learn, it feels as if it comes from the same place we came from, right? So when you are a chosen one, when you are a spiritual in a chosen one sector, in a star seed sector form of thing, you know, targeted individual and stuff, like, especially when you're targeted individual, when you're a chosen one or a targeted individual, you're kind of already aware that it's kind of like you're a Freemason, right? It's kind of like you're the original Freemason. And for some of us, that is the case. We're like the original Freemasons. You know, even though Freemasons don't respect people like us, I don't think Freemasons have the knowledge that what they're studying is technically us, you know, people like us, you know. And it's not that they're studying the individual, because Freemasons don't study the individual necessarily, but it's kind of like the consciousness. They study consciousness, but we are consciousness. We are consciousness. And this is why the notion of you being, i.e., Illuminati or a Freemason or an original Freemason, makes sense, because we are children of consciousness. We're children of consciousness. We are born out of consciousness. We are made out of consciousness. All that to say that in chosen ones, compared to an other person, we are more closely in tune with consciousness than the regular person. So not the reason why I don't say fake or anything derogative is because the individual that is a Freemason could be a child of consciousness, or just a person that's curious and just wants to learn more. So it's not the same, right? But it's that's why it's not the same. That's the reason why it's not the same. But for people like us, we always knew. Like, we don't need to be Freemasons. We already know what the Freemasons know, right? We're already aware. Even if you're not aware that you could not be aware of what Freemasons learn, but what they're learning is not to be like you, but the things they're learning, the things that are within you already, right? This might be the cause for jealousy and envy. Maybe not, too. Because, like I said before, I don't think that Freemasons are aware of this, you know. And I don't even think certain, not all, certain chosen ones are aware of this. But there's some people that are very aware of this, very aware. And Christians, some high level Christians do believe in the same notion that they are the original Freemason. too. So it might not be a broadband belief, but there's more than one person aware of that notion. You'd be surprised. If you start a conversation with the right person, you might hear it. You might hear it for somebody else without even you telling the person or suggesting that to the person might fall into that conversation with you. So people around are kind of aware of it, but it's not broadband. It's not everybody that knows that. And it's a controversial thing to say. It's a controversial thing to say because Freemasons take their knowledge very seriously. They got it down to a science, right? They got it down to a science, so they take that shit very seriously. And it's not that chosen ones don't take it seriously. Chosen ones take it for granted. Facts. We do. We take. It's not in a negative way, but we're born like we wake up like that, right? We don't have to study. We don't have to force it. We don't have to force it. We don't have to study. We don't have to read. We're like that. We're just naturally like that. We're born that way, So we take it for granted. Not even that we're aware that we're taking it for granted. It's just, how can you not take it for granted? Like it does. It's like breathing air. You don't think about it. You know what I mean? Like you just breathe air. Like, you don't have to think about like, oh, I gotta breathe now. You just do it. You're just like that. You just breathe air. You're a person that breathes air. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting topic, and it's more than just an interesting topic. It is what it is. It's the alpha and the omega. It's the end all of all. Is the whole shebang. And yeah, and there has been. I feel like there has been a decrease in activity, in spiritual activity in this year. I feel like there's been a little bit of a inclination towards some kind of repose of spiritual activity. Because I'm not the only one that's doing things and saying things, but I haven't seen people come with a lot of downloads as of late. Not that I'm saying people are not receiving downloads, but we do tend to work in tandem. We do tend to work in tandem, and the person that doesn't have a YouTube channel is still doing his vibrational work. He watches the fact that he watches a video makes that video important. Or he doesn't have to check a video at all. He just has to be himself, and he will see that during the day, everything that he did when he was by himself, everybody else is doing it, or everybody's talking about it in some way, shape, or form, right? And that's the result of vibrational work, So, but it feels like that activity has loosened in the past year, to be quite honest, in the past couple of months, in the past 8 months, I would say. And I think it's gonna come back. It's coming back. It's coming back with all the. It's coming back because we are doing something important right now. We're doing something important right now, and we're heading towards a better future. We're heading towards a better future, and the evil of this world is fighting to stay on top, right? But the thing is, it's already it's already done. It's already over. Like there's no if and buts about this, because it's not just about the spiritual world, it's also about humanity. It's about humanity, it's about consciousness, it's about spirit, it's about that's what it's about. It's about those things. So it's not just spirits, it's also humans that are supposed in the first place, regardless of spirit, to evolve regardless of what happened. That's the only thing that is guaranteed about humanity is evolution. It's like you can't write 500 books without getting better at writing books. It's just not possible. It's not possible. You can't write 500 books and you're not better at writing books. That doesn't make sense. It's impossible. It's physically not possible to do that. It's physically not possible. If you write like 100 books, 5 books, 10 books, you will get better. Even after your first book, like you will see, oh man, I could have done this better. And then when you write your second book, you're gonna do better in the second book. And then the third book, you're gonna do better in the third book. And then the fourth book, you're gonna do better in the fourth book. So this is a mundane effect of life that evil has a hard time accepting, because evil wants to create chaos. Chaos needs to reign for evil, blah 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 blah. And all that's fine and dandy, but at some point it's not like evil is going to disappear forever, because everybody's capable of doing evil. Everybody's capable of being cruel. So evil will never actually disappear. But the kind of evil that we're talking about is like corrupted people, like corrupted officials and things like that. People that are trying to maintain a status quo, stay in power, and just doesn't want to relinquish their position, which they have to. And a lot of people have. A lot of CEOs have relinquished their positions in industries, in a vast array of industries, because they know what's coming. They know they can see the wave happen, and they're getting out the way before the tsunami hits, right? So, and we're already seeing it. I mean, the Puff Daddy thing, that's very significant, man. That's very significant. Although I'm very unsure about the Puff Daddy situation, more or less unsure, but I do know it's kind of a message. It's kind of humanity is sending a message to certain institutions, like certain countries, especially like America right now. America is sending, the humans that live in America are sending a message to the institutions that are here right now. And it's kind of like the humans that live in America are very intelligent, and they go to school and they study and they go to work, and they have better shit to do than to worry about stupid stuff, and so whether it doesn't matter if somebody believes in Jesus or this and that and XYZ, the point is, we have studied, we have learned, we have experimented, and now it's time for more of that experimentation, more of that learning, and more of that studying, right? And more of the doing, right? So, and at a certain time and point, the cat is gonna have a good time chasing around the mouse around the house, but at some point the cat is gonna have to stop chasing the cat around the house. At some point, the owner of the cats is gonna come around, is gonna be like, okay, that's enough. That's enough, right? So it is what it is, and that's what we're seeing. That's the era that we are falling into. That's the era that is coming. Humanity, I can't say that humanity has a great future, but I don't think it has anything to do with humanity being having a great future. I think it has everything to do with humanity uh moving forward, right? We want to move forward. We don't want to move backwards. And a lot of these evils that are here right now, they're trying to make us move backwards instead of forward, for whichever reason that it is. Because if humanity goes backwards, they can stay on top and they can be number one. If they keep you in ignorance, then they can stay on top because you don't know anything. So it's not even that the person, it's not even that this institution per se is like, oh, I'm gonna rob this person, I'm gonna take that person. No, what this person is gonna do is he's gonna hoard all of the knowledge. He's gonna hoard all of the important people, all of the knowledge, keep him to himself, and keep the rest of the masses blind, right? But the veil is lifting. The veil has lifted. The veil has lifted. So therefore, um, it's not gonna work anymore. It's not, and people are waking up. People are waking up, man. It's not gonna work anymore at some point. So this whole keeping people blind and not knowing stuff, it's gonna run out. It's gonna run out. It's gonna run out of juice. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, man. Like I said, uh, I do think you should tell yourself that you are an original Freemason. In the back of your mind, in your subconscious, you should know that you're an original Freemason. You're the epitaph of Freemasonry, right? You're the goal of like that's the thing. Like I was talking about a couple of months ago. I was talking about your life is wobbly, right? Your life is wobbly. Maybe you guys might remember this or maybe not, but your power is wobbly because there's so many layers to this reality. There's so many dimensions and parallel universes and dimensions to this reality that your Nephilism, right? Your Nephilism, your godhood, right, is wobbly, right? It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Y'all remember that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? That's you. And the thing is, you're like Ant-Man, but you don't know it. Or you do know that you're like Ant-Man, but sometimes you don't feel like Ant-Man. And when that happens, your power is wobbly. So you can be gigantic one day, and then the other day you're small, right? Or you can feel, and that, like I said, this happens all through the day. If you pay attention to yourself, if you pay attention to yourself and your thoughts and your mannerism and the way you conduct yourself during the day, you can pinpoint the time period during the day where you felt like a giant, and then you went back into feeling small, and then back into a giant, and then small again, and then back into like you. So it's like war. So, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because there's a notion. This is another layer. This is another layer of reality. One of the layers of reality is financial, right? Finances, right? Economic, economic success, right? So you're gonna see a Freemason, right? He seems to have a head on his shoulder. He has cars, a wife, blah 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 blah. And he's a Freemason. So, but to other people, to the person outside looking in, he's saying to himself, "That guy has it. That guy understands it. That guy is learning something, and it's giving him something." But and then you're gonna look at the other guy and gonna be like, "Well, that guy, I don't know. I'm not sure, right?" But the thing is, you're looking at things on the surface level, and this is very important. Listen, because that's what the trick is. That's where the magic trick is, man. you're looking at things on the surface level, right? You're not looking at things with your third eye. When you're looking at things like that, and you might even think that you're looking at it from the third eye because you are aware of the occult notion of that person. So therefore, you think you're judging him on the same wavelength that your mind is on, right? But not really. You're judging on the surface level. It doesn't matter that you know that this person is an occultist or something along those lines. It doesn't really matter because basing yourself you're basing the spiritual success of the person off of the items that accompany him, which in some shape or form is justifiable for someone to feel that way. But when you're a true spirit, when you're a true spirit, those things don't come into the picture yet. They don't come into the picture, and they don't come into the picture until you decide for those things to come into the picture, right? Until you get up one day and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So the thing is here is the Freemason and the spiritual man. Like I said in a couple minutes ago, this is where the magic trick is. And like I said a couple minutes ago, the Freemason is studying to be like the the spiritual man. The Freemason is not a complete entity. The chosen one is a complete entity. The chosen one is an entity, whichever entity it is. Whether or not they are aware that they are an entity, it doesn't matter. One thing that's for sure is that he is an entity. The thing is, not all chosen ones probably have uh, all of the required knowledge or gnosis to properly explain everything that he himself truly is to another, right? And in some cases, they might. Like, I can, right? And I'm pretty sure other people can too. But it's not everybody. A lot of people are just riding the synchronicity wave. You know, a lot of people just go by synchronicity. They don't really the the fluff doesn't matter to them. When I mean fluff is all the intricate notions of the explanatory dialect of your inner spirituality, like that's the fluff. Some people would call it fluff. I don't really call it fluff, but some people would look at it as fluff. Some people would be like, well, whatever. You know what I mean? But the point here I'm trying to make is that you might even compare yourself to another. You might even compare yourself to another and be like, oh, well, I'm not as successful as this guy, so I might be doing something wrong. Or there might be something wrong with me, or whatever. Not that you care, but you still ask yourself the question, what's the difference? There is no difference. And not only that, it's the wrong way to look at it, too. Because being a chosen one is like living in the future. It's like back in the future. You're McFly, right? You're McFly from Back to the Future. Pardon me if I said anything triggering here. I mean no offense. Um, no pun intended, no offense meant. But you're kind of like McFly, right? From Back to the Future, right? You're back to the future, right? You're back to the future, right? You came back to go towards the future, right? So, because where you come from is the future, you are a time traveler. You're a time traveler. You come from the ultimate future. You come from the end. That's where you come from. You come from the end of the line. That's why you know everything. That's why you know everything. You've seen everything because that's where you come from. You're a time traveler. And you came back in time to help people go forward. You came back to help people go into the future, right? But you already know what's in the future. Deep down inside, you might think that you don't know, but you know. If you sit there and think about it, you know what's in the future. It's not that hard to figure out. You know what's in the future. So you're a futuristic being, right? That's why you know everything. That's why you just know everything. That's why you know music before it comes out, right? You never had that. You guys already had that when you had a song in your head and then it comes out, right? But you were singing it before it came out, bro. That happened to me a lot, and that happens to me a lot, bro. Like I think about songs, and the song is not out, and then I hear it in the radio 2 weeks later. I'm like, oh shit, that's the thing I was thinking about. So it's not that the person copied; it's because you come from the future. You already heard that song before. It's one of your favorite songs. When you were in the future, you were listening to that song. But now you came back from the future to bring us towards the future with you, right? This is what a chosen one is. This is what a chosen one does. This is the true purpose of a chosen one, to bring us to the future, to bring us to that highly technological thingamajig utopia, whatever, spiritual, technological, I don't know, whatever, what you call this, bro. That's what you're here to do. You're here to bring us towards the future, and you already know what the future is, and you already know. You already know. I don't need to explain it to you. You already know. You're built like that. You're just built like that. You're just built that way, bro. Built different. So yeah, man. Back to the Future, baby. Let's do it. You're a time traveler, man. You're a time traveler. You travel in time. You travel in time. You don't even know it. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video by talking about myself. Obviously, like it's a thing to do, you know. But there's something about me that I need to explain. That is very complicated to explain, right? I don't have a name. I don't have a name. I don't. I mean, I have a name, but I don't have a name. I'm nameless. I'm the nameless, right? I don't have a name because for a godly being like you and me, for a godly being, the thing about gods is just because you achieve godhood, that doesn't mean it's over. All gods have multiple names, right? There is no god that has only one name. And names are a short version story. That's what a name is. A name is a short version story, right? Like, a name is always followed by events and things that happen, right? That's how you get a name. right? It's like making your name in the streets. You know, then you fight these guys, or you sold this much drugs, blah 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 blah, and then they give your name valued to the specific adventure that you had and the specific how you handled the situation and whatnot, right? That gives you a name, right? So a god, when you grow up as a human, you get a name. When you're born, you get a name, and then your friends, right? And then your family gives you another name, a short name, right? And even that name is a short version story, right? There's a reason why your family calls you that way, right? There's something you remind them of something, or it just fits with your character, right? And then your friends give you another name, right? And then you go into sports, they give you another name. And then you start working, they name you something else in there too. So you're just collecting names, right? You're collecting titles. It's like you're a wrestler and you're collecting. It's like you're a boxer or a wrestler and you're collecting championship belts. Those are championship belts. Your names are championship belts, right? You know, so for God, and that's just the humans. So once you achieve godhood, that doesn't stop. As you are God, you continue to do things in your godhood state, and you will continue to do things, and you will continue to receive names, right? So a God has many names. There is no God that only has one name. None. Not one. Not a single one. All gods have multiple titles because of things that they have done during their godhoods. Their godhoodship. Their godship. Something like that. So during their life as a god, they are still collecting names. And even right now, if the gods would want to, if the gods felt like it, they could probably collect more names if they wanted to. But the only way to collect a name is to go on an adventure, right? Regardless if it's a heavy or easy adventures, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about severity here. We're just talking literal. We're just being literal here. We're being face value here. So in order for God today, so let's say XYZ, God X wants to have another title, or not even that he wants to have another title, is just God X decides to do something about a particular situation. There is a slight possibility that he might collect another name, and he might get that name from us, or he might get that name from his compatriots. And the reason why I say slight is because most of the time, before you receive a name, you kind of have to do something multiple times in order for the inspiration of the name to come to you, right? So it's not just you go on an adventure one time and then boom, you get a name. But sometimes, yes, you go on an adventure one time and then boom, you get a name. You know, it depends. It's go with the flow. So I am truly a nameless because I have collected so many names during my lifetime. And I'm not trying to brag here. I'm actually trying to say that the notion of a name is kind of ridiculous. Because at the end of the day, you can't surmise the entirety of a person in just a name. You can't. You know, just a person tells me their name, it's not indicative of who they are. Even if they tell me their nickname, it's not necessarily indicative of who they are. I can assume things from their name. Oh, he has a strong name, so he must be a badass. Or he has a badass nickname, so he's probably a badass. Like, I can assume things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what that person is, right? And even if that's what that person is, I still don't know that person. I still don't know the person. Like, I don't live with the person. I haven't seen this person in his natural environment, right? In his natural environment. I don't live with the person. I don't know the person, right? So the idea of having a name is almost offensive in some cases. It's almost offensive, right? Because my name is nothing compared to who I am, right? This is nothing. It's not even worth saying. It's almost like it's not even worth saying. It's like almost it's insulting to call me a name is insulting. To call me by my name is insulting. Like it is. It is. It's because I'm not just that, and I'm not that name. I'm not that name. That's just a title that somebody labeled on me. It's just a label that somebody put on me because he needed something to say when he addressed me, right? So, and that's okay, and that makes sense. That's fine. But at the same time, it's kind of like, what the fuck is a name? Like what the fuck is a name? Like what is a name? Like what is a name? It's nothing. It's nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing. And not everybody is gonna understand that notion. Not everybody is gonna understand what that means. Not everybody can understand what I just said. A lot of people probably will. People that watch my channel probably will understand what I just said, but it's not everybody that can really grasp the notion of not having a name, right? And the thing is, I have no name. The result of me collecting names is the reason why I have no name. I have too many names. So I have no name. Because if I had a name, then I wouldn't have all those names. Right? Does that make sense? Like why would I have all those names if I have one name? And if I have all those names, that means and none of them are my actual name, then that means I have no name. So I'm the nameless, right? And nameless people are usually like always in the dark. Like, they're dark individuals. They're dark individuals. They're dark entities, right? Like they're closely related to death. They're closely related to death and shadowy things. Like, so subterfuge and stuff, right? Like, not to say subterfuge, but we're in the shadows. We're shadow people. We're shadow people. We're nameless. We're here, but we're not here. Like, so. And these notions, mind you, I'm not just saying that just to be cocky or arrogant or overly self confident. Um, I'm opening your mind. I'm trying to open your mind to different aspects of reality that exist, but that nobody talks about ever, right? Basically things that you're technically supposed to learn in school, but nah. You know what I mean? Like just nah. Like Nah. Um, but they are important because you should know these things. It is things that people should know. I don't consider because at the end because it's a human that's like that. It's not a car or a house. It's like a person. It's not like it's not a story in a book. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's a person. The person actually exists. He lives. He breathes. He's there. He exists, bro. And that person is like that. And they don't tell us those things. So we just walk around town not knowing shit. Like we just walk around town not knowing nothing, right? Like so, I do think those things are important. 'Cause me personally, I'm a curious person, right? You would tell me if you would have told me as a child that people like that existed, that would be the number one thing I would be hunting those people, not to murder them, but to learn from them, right? I'd still go to school, but after school, that would be the first place I would park my keister at. You know what I mean? So, but it comes later in life. It comes later in life, and it's not that people don't do it or people are not aware. It's just you have to study magic, right, to be aware of things like that, right? Like why? Why do I need to study magic to be aware of things like? Why can't you just put on the front of your house, "I'm a shadow guy"? You know what I mean? Like not literally, but you get the point. Like I'm being overly simplistic here on purpose, but kind of. You know what I mean? Like people don't walk around with those labels. They don't walk around with labels. A shadow person, you might not know that this person is a shadow person, right? But he might be a shadow person. He might be a nameless. He might be a god. He might be anything. It might be a demon, might be a jinn, might be an angel, might be anything, right? But you don't know because those people ain't saying shit because they don't live in a society where it's acceptable or accepted to be that way. Even though you can, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are very open minded and very interested in those things, might I add. But it's just not popular. It's not a popular thing. It's not a popular effect. So people just walking down the street being a shadow person, not paying no mind that maybe he should tell people that he's a shadow person, or a person could walk down the street, pass by a shadow person, and feel a certain thing. Feel like his intuition is telling him something, but he don't know what his intuition is telling him because you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. So all you get is like an intuition. You get a feeling, and then that's it. Right? You take the bus, you go home, and you go to sleep like nothing ever happened. Right? But what if you knew? What would have been your reaction? Right? Like, what if you knew? What would have been your reaction? Would you have stood there and had a conversation with the man, or whatever, or would you have become a shadow person too? Who knows? No one knows, right? Because our society is not built that way, right? And I'm not saying anybody's wrong or anybody's right for society to be like that. It is what it is. It is what it is. It was what it was, and it's gonna be what's gonna be. But at the same time, I like bringing up these notions because I do want humanity to feel a little bit more confident about themselves, because I feel like a lot of evil happens, and a lot of the evil happened because of a clear lack of confidence. Like some people can't even fathom calling themselves a god. They can't even. There's some people that you can't even nowhere near that. Like this person would laugh at you if you told him that. Like he would like burst out mocking, laughing you, like, like, and he would walk away like laughing, crying. Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, there's some people like that. There's some people like that. Just like there's some people that would accept the notion that they might be a god, right? Or anything along those like magician and emperor, blah 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 blah, right? So on and so on, label and label on label, right? So, like I said, we are here to bring people towards the future because we come from the future. We already know what's there, and we're just trying to bring people to that place. It's not like we come from nowhere and we just popped out, somebody's vagina. Pause. No pun intended. No offense, man. But it's not like we popped out somebody's vagina and then boom, hey, I'm here. Blow. Tadow. Tadow. You know what I mean? Like, no, we come from somewhere. We come from the future. We are a civilization that comes from it. You know me, I know you. You know me, I know you. Well, some of us know each other. Some of us know each other, man. And man, it happened to me a couple times where I live. I walked by a guy, and I'm like, bro, I've seen you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it happened at least twice. I was like, and that happens all the time. But I'm surprised that it happened here because I know that I don't know anybody here, right? Like, I'm very aware that I don't know anybody. So, but it happened a couple times. I was like, and the person was looking at me too, and was like, yeah, like, like. I know you, like, I feel like we know each other, so it happens a lot to a lot of people. That happens a lot to a lot of people because we come from the future, man. We come from the future. We've already, everything that we're living today, we already lived it. And then we get deja vus. What do you think is a deja vu? It's your old self sending you a message of something that happened in the future and is about to happen to you in a moment. That's what a deja vu is. That's why you feel like you saw it before. Like, oh shit, I've seen this before. Yeah, you're right. And the wording is precise. I've seen this before. Why would you, if a premonition was a premonition, you wouldn't say I've seen this before. No, you have the feeling. The reason why deja vu is a deja vu is because the deja vu comes with a feeling that you've seen this before, which you have, right? That's why we call it a deja vu. Deja vu is already seen. A deja vu is French for already seen. That's what deja vu means. It means already seen. I already saw this. You're right. That's what a deja vu. That's what deja vu meaning. That's the meaning of the word deja vu is already seen. So, anyways, I am the nameless. I am the nameless, and you can call me by whatever name you choose to call me by. Because at the end of the day, all those names mean the same thing. All those names mean that I am nameless. That's the thing too. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful and educational and fun and entertaining. And I hope it's going to open your mind and lift the veil from over your eyes, and that you will realize that you are a lot more than who you think you are, right? I hope you're going to see that you're a lot more than who you think you are. And because you're a lot more than who you think you are, man. A lot more. And the day that you're going to start being interested in yourself and not others, no pun intended, no offense meant, the day that you're going to realize that, the day that you're going to be interested in yourself instead of others, that's the day that you're really going to connect with that godhood, with that God, that God aspect of yourself, right? The day is not just, no pun intended, no offense meant, like, if you like my videos, you should. If you're interested in me, you should, but Ixnay on the people that listen to my channel, you have to understand, you might be listening to my channel, but you have to understand there's millions, thousands, and hundreds and millions of people out there that are not like you and that don't think like you also. And they are not aware of what you know. They are not aware of what I know. They're not aware of what you know. And even the people that are aware of some things, they're not aware of everything, So when I say this, is because the general masses, the people in general, most people don't want to be themselves. Most people don't want to be themselves, man. They literally don't want to be themselves. Literally. Like, literally. It's amazing. It's crazy. Like, the person doesn't want to be themselves. Why? Why not? That's crazy. But it happens. A lot. A shit ton. So what I said is important to remember. And it's not a jab at you and me. It's a notion that either you should keep or that you should be aware when you're speaking to someone else. You have to understand that that person, there's a possibility that the person that you're talking to either does not know who they are or they're not even interested in who they are. Not even interested. Not even interested, bro. Because money, greed, corruption, evil, peer pressure, rejection, social outcasting, injustices, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Fear is a powerful motivator to get people to do things that are outside their normal character. Fear is a powerful motivator, man. So when you keep people in fear, they're not going to try to peek through the window if they're afraid to peek through the window, So it's our job. It's not our job to show them who they are. That's not our job. But our very high purpose is to bring people towards the future. And the way that you're going to do that is with conversations. The way you're going to do it is with conversation, is with the knowledge that you give people. That's how you're going to bring all of us towards the future. By speaking to one person, you will bring all of us with you. And that's why you should not underestimate yourself. Because you might feel like You're just having a joint at the park with your friends, talking all that spiritual shit, and you don't pay it no mind. And it's not that you don't pay it no mind. You actually believe in what you're thinking. You actually believe that. You might even get frustrated if somebody doesn't understand what you're saying, and you might quit the conversation and you'd be like, man, screw this, I'm going home and shit. The whole 9 yards. So it's not that you don't believe what you're saying. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that, are you aware that words work magic? How aware of you that your words work magic? How aware of you that when you speak, you are spelling, right? How aware are you that you're spelling when you speak? How aware are you? Because that's the biggest difference. And that's where the magic is. The more aware of what you're doing, the more you are aware of what you're doing, the more powerful what you're doing becomes. When you do something, you tell yourself, oh, it's not important. It's not important. The universe is like a butler. It's like a servant, right? Everything you tell it to do is gonna do it. Everything you tell it to do is gonna do it. So if you like, oh man, that you're doing something, somebody thinks what you're doing is important, but you're like, whatever. It's not important. It officially becomes not important. But if you're aware of what you're doing is important, and you're like, yeah, I know this is important. It's important. It's fucking important, man. It's a big deal. It's that easy. It's that easy. Snap of a finger. Snap of a finger, man. Thanos. Anyway. I don't want to give you any information overload. I don't think I have. I think this video was very down to earth-ish. More or less. In my own way. You know, like... but, and... like I said, apparently you guys are watching my videos right now. So if I had said something in my video that's triggering, don't be triggered. It's probably not on purpose. And if it is triggering, it's probably not directed to you. All right. So see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.